Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us this year for the annual Service of Hope. And it's amazing to see, so many people still kind of value the service that we've been running now since 1996. So what I'd say to you is you're all very welcome, whether you're a patient, relative, or I know there's a lot of the oncology and haematology teams. So welcome each and every one of you, and I suppose today is a little bit about celebrating and also trying to unite in solidarity behind ye as you journey through the cancer process, particularly within the oncology unit in Drogheda. And what we try to do is try to support you through what for some people can be quite a difficult journey. And so what we're going to do today is try to, our themes this year are about hope and also gratitude, because they kind of embody a lot of what we try to do on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't matter whether you're the person who is the clerical person checking the person in, the healthcare assistant, who's looking, after the patient, or nurse and medical staff, and also we have a wide range of support staff there. But what we're trying to do is try to make the journey as easy as possible for patients and their families, because it's can be very, very difficult because of the nature of healthcare. I suppose a lot of our patients are receiving chemotherapy with ourselves. They might have had surgery in another hospital, radiation maybe in another hospital, and it can be all very daunting for the patients and that kind of thing as well. So what we're trying to do is trying to streamline it, make the journey as good as it can be in what is sometimes a very difficult time. So without further ado, I'm going to MC through the programme. And so the first, we're going to kick off now with Cara, which is the folk group which has been with us from the inauguration really of this Service of Hope. So without further ado, I'd like them to, they're going to play A Ray of Hope, which will get us all in the mood for Christmas. Thank you.
Lights up way up high. across the land dawns a brand new dawn. This comes to pass when a child is born.
Thanks very much. I'd like now to ask Fiona McNair from the Oncology Department, and Fiona is going to deliver a Christmas wish to us all.
My Christmas Wish for You by Cecilia Bailey. My Christmas wish for you, my friend, is not a simple one. For I wish you hope and joy and peace, days filled with warmth and sun. I wish you love and friendship too throughout the coming year. Lots of laughter and happiness to fill your world with cheer. May you count your blessings one by one, and when totalled by the lot, may you find all you've been given to be more than what you sought. May your journeys be short, your burdens light. May your spirit never grow old. May all your clouds have silver linings and your rainbows pots of gold. I wish this all and so much more. May all your dreams come true. May you have a Merry Christmas, friend, and a Happy New Year too.
Thanks very much, Fiona. That really embodies really what this is about. It's wishing you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And without further ado now, I have very privileged to have a niece who's very talented harpist, and Kate Mead is going to enthrall us with some of her chords. Thanks, Kate. Thanks a million, Kate. That was beautiful. We now have a message from Dr. Reem Salmon, who's a consultant breast surgeon in Beaumont, and she also works across the Beacon and some of the other private hospitals. And Reem is a director of our charity, and Reem has recorded this message. Unfortunately, she's still at clinic today in Dublin, so this is a message to all of you that she recorded earlier today.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good afternoon to all. We are fortunate to be gathered here today for each other, remembering our dear one and celebrating our good health. As you can see, the candles around you symbolizing the holy value of life and peace. Today, peace is a dream, but hope lies in the courage of those who dare to make dreams into reality, sustained by faith in God. Christmas is a time of healing, peace, forgiveness, kindness, and joy. Jesus preached that we are all brothers and sisters, that we stand united by our shared humanity, that we are all equal in the forgiving eyes of God in every religion, that we are all one. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness, and there is never a night or a problem that could defeat sunrise. Today, in all colors and faith, we pray for good health, courage, peace, freedom, justice, kindness to each other, and a gratitude to what we have and we could share. These messages stand true for Christian, Jews, Muslims, those with any faith or no faith. These are the values of a humanity that we must all hold in our hearts in order for peace to thrive on our earth. Merry Christmas and peaceful 2024. Bless you all.
I think Reem kind of got everything that we have talked about earlier, so thank you very much to Reem for recording that, and I hope it resonated well with you. We're going to now hear from the Cara Folk Choir, who will sing Do You Hear What I Hear?
Hear what I hear.
Do you hear what I hear?
Said the night wind to the little lamb. Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
Way up in the sky, little lamb. Do you see what I see?
And I see what I see.
A star was born, dancing in the sky,
With a tail as big as a kite. With a tail as big as a kite.
said a little lamb to the shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear?
Ringing through the night, shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear?
The storm must come high above the tree,
With a voice as big as a sea. With a voice as big as a sea.
said the shepherd boy to the mighty king. Do you know what I know?
Do you know what I know?
In your palace, warm mighty king. Do you know what I know?
Do you know what I know?
A star that shines, shimmers in the cold.
Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold.
Said the king to the people everywhere. Listen to what I say.
Listen to what I say.
Pray for peace
For people everywhere.
Listen to what I say.
Listen to what I say.
A child, speaking in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He will bring us goodness and light.
I'd now like to warmly welcome Father Tom Hogan, who's been with us for, I can't say how many years there, but he's an absolute stalwart of oncology. And Father Hogan has actually retired, but I still was brave enough to ask him to come and talk to us today, because I think it's the most important part of the whole thing. So he's a message for you today about hope and gratitude. So I'll hand over to Father Hogan now.
Now Liz, let's get one thing straight. I haven't retired. I've just changed jobs. That's all. Today is the 15th and it's fine 15 years coming here. And walking around before when I came in, I met people who are over 15 years coming, which means one thing: they're not dying of cancer, they're living with cancer, a big thing. Today is on hope, and I want to tell you just a few stories what I find that the Lord working, whether we're Catholics or Protestants or wherever we are. We all believe in some kind of a God anyway, and how he works and brings us along the road. Some years ago in the hospital, it was a beautiful summer's night, and I was called to a woman in HDU. She was dying, and all the family were around the bed. And then this man came in, her son, and his language was choice. He was given out because he couldn't get a parking space. And he was given out about these Polish fellas. And he said, you know, he said, my sister is dying. And then he looked at me and he said, just because you have a collar, I suppose you've got a parking space without any trouble. So I said nothing. But anyway, the woman didn't die, and the next day I met him down in the bottom corridor. He said, Father, can I talk? I said, sure. He said, I want to apologise. You see, he said, that wasn't my sister last night. That was my mother. She had two of us outside of marriage, and we were brought up as if we were her sister and brother. And she told me a few weeks ago who my father was. And she wanted me to go and find him and make him pay up for what he didn't do when we were children. And I had found the father, and I wanted to get to her before she died. So we had a great old chat, and that went all right. About 2 years later, I was going around with communion around the third corridor on the west wing. And just I came to this man in the middle bed, he said, stop, don't you come near me. As long as I'm here, don't you speak to me. And I backed away. And there was a man dying in the ward. And later that afternoon, I went up to the man that was dying with his family. And who was in the bed? Only the guy a few years ago who gave out to me about his mother dying. And he was delighted to see me with two arms around the other. And he said to me, would you give me the blessing that you gave my mother that night? You forgave her sins and you gave her a healing blessing, and she was very calm. And I said, sure. And I went off anyway. And that night there was a corpse going out, and at 7 o'clock I said, I'll go up now to the last to see how this man, did he die or not, or to see the family. And as I went up, my friend had gone down for a smoke, and the guy that rang me that morning called me over. He said, Father, when I saw you in black this morning, the thing that went through my head, I was in Artane and I was abused. And when I saw you, he said, I just saw only abuse. But obviously you're different, he said. That blessing you gave that man, will you give it to me? And I did. And the next morning he said to Sister Gabriel, he said, look, I came in with no hope of ever going back into the church, of ever making my peace with God. But because of what happened here yesterday, he said, I'm going home a happy man. My second story, I was going through the ED one day, and this young fella, about 20 or so, was trying to get this old man up onto a trolley. He had to come back from the toilet. So I went over to the old man anyway, and I was chatting and talking with him. And then the young fella said, when you're finished there, Father, he said, will you come over and give me a blessing? I said, sure, no problem. So I went over to him anyway, and I said, what do you want a blessing for? He said, when I leave here, I'm going to commit suicide. I said, Mother of God, a young man like you, why would you want to commit suicide? He told me a story. When he was 11, his father beat him so much he had a stroke. Then his father died. The mother got married again. His stepfather hung himself. And then the mother turned into an alcoholic. And he had a girlfriend, and they had 2 children. And the 2 children only lived 6 weeks, and both of them died. And then he found his girlfriend in bed with another man, and he hit him with a stick. And he said, the only 2 people that love me are dead, and I want to be with them. And I couldn't find an answer. I couldn't find one thing to hang on the wall and say why you shouldn't do it. I said, do you mind, I said, if I say a prayer over you and give you a hug? He said, no, that's okay. So every night I'd be called, I would wonder, my God, did this fella commit suicide? He's going to be the one. And it was a Saturday morning after Mass, just come in taking off the vestments, and I said, hi, Father Tom. Christ was your man. I said, you didn't commit suicide. No, he said, the hug changed my mind. The hug changed my mind. Somebody cared enough to give me a hug. Some years ago, I have a grandniece, Molly, and Molly had 80 tumours between her knee and her brain. Her bone marrow was 100% cancerous. That's where the cancer was coming from. They took up a big collection, $250,000 nearly, to bring her to America. She never got to America. The money went to Crumlin Hospital. She's now playing football, 14 years of age. She's a beautiful young woman. And sometimes we think through our cancer that we're not beautiful. That's going by the outside, the beautiful on the inside. There's a story told about an old farmer and the wife, and there was only no children, there was only the 2 of them. And he was out ploughing with a horse one day, and he saw this thing shining on the ground. And he went over and he picked it up. He never saw a mirror before. And he thought it was a photograph of his father. Oh God, he said, I'm the spitting image of me, son. I'm the spitting image of my father. And he cleaned it and he washed it and he brought it home anyway. And he put it under the mattress. And every day he'd go up, he'd come in, he'd go in to have a look at the thing. And the wife was getting a bit suspicious about him. Getting a bit suspicious. And she said, I wonder what's going on there. So she went up one day and she found it. And she never saw a mirror either. And when she looked and saw your woman in it, well, she said, if that's the old hag he's going with, he can have him. I want to finish by telling you a fable. I love fables. Because fables, everything, buckets and bats and everything talking fables. There's a fable told about a mother, a granny and a granddad. And they went into an antique shop. Their granddaughter was 21. And they wanted to get something for her. So they were looking around and they saw this beautiful vase or vase, whatever you like to call it. And they said, we'll get this. And the vase said, hold on now, she said, I wasn't always like this. I was just a piece of mud in the ground. And this day a man came along with a bucket and a spade and he dug me up. And I said, stop, stop. And he said, not yet. And then he threw water into the bucket and he started squeezing me and squeezing me and squeezing me. And I said, stop. And he said, not yet. And then he put me on a wheel and I was going on spinning on a wheel and pulling this way and pulling that way and pulling. And I said, stop. And he said, not yet. And then he took me over and a woman gave me and put me into a big furnace. And the furnace was blazing and burning me and I said, stop, stop. And he said, not yet. And then they took me out of the furnace and they painted me, put paint all over here and paint there. And I said, stop, and they said, no, not yet. And then another man got me and put me into an oven. And it was all warm and baked in the oven. And I said, stop, and they said, no, not yet. And then they took me out and they put me on the shelf in a mirror. And I saw how beautiful I was. That might be your story too. With all the pulling and the dragging that's in you, and people through the doctors and nurses and getting radium treatment, and people trying to get you into cars and onto toggles, but you're beautiful inside. And I have one message for you tonight, in the words of a song. If I could see the world through the eyes of a child, what a wonderful world it would be. There'd be no worry, no strife, just a big happy life and a bluebird in every tree. May there be many bluebirds in your trees this year. God bless you and thank you for coming.
Thanks very much, Father Hogan, and I think that resonates, you know, bluebirds and, you know, hope and happiness and everything, so thanks a million. He always just nails it, so thanks very much. I'm now going to introduce Kate, who's already played for us, and also a local woman to Lobanstown. Aoife Trainer is an accomplished, she has a day job as a teacher and then regales a lot of weddings and happy events with her beautiful singing. So Kate and Aoife are now going to sing and play for us. Thank you.
I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe. I pray we'll find your light and hold it in our hearts. When stars go out each night, remind us where you are. Let this be our prayer when shadows fill our day. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, give us faith so we'll be safe. Need to find a place, guide us with your grace. a place where we'll be safe.
Thank you so much, Aoife and Kate. That was just that was amazing. Thanks so much. I'd now going to invite Paul Egan, who is a director of NECRET, and Paul is really going to talk to us really about kind of what our themes for this year are: hope and gratitude. So I'd invite Paul to say a few words to us.
Hello everybody, good evening, and Liz, thank you. And look, this is just a really special celebration that's happening here today. As Liz introduced me as a director of NECRET, well look, I was very late coming to NECRET. All the work was done before I got here. And you know, it's a privilege for me to be part of this organisation. And today's theme was about hope and about gratitude, and you know, it's difficult in a difficult situation to create an ambience of hope, and yet it's what we have to do. And today, you know, for me, kind of symbolises hope being such a wonderful ingredient in even in my own life and situations. Because without hope, it's very difficult. Hope, how do we develop hope? Hope is, faith is a big play in hope, you know, no question about it. And the word care was mentioned as well, which, you know, just talking to each other creates a lovely platform for hope. Yeah, talking to each other, and then this level of anxiety can block us. Of course we can get anxious, and then we look at gratitude, which is part of the theme. And you know, sometimes it's difficult just then to move into a place of gratitude. But gratitude is one of the greatest healers and helpers to get us into an acceptance. And sometimes I think, you know, listening to myself, if the words were flipped from hope, gratitude, to maybe gratitude, hope. And I know that, you know, to practice gratitude on a daily basis is an unbelievable foundation to get us ready. I can only talk about me, to get me ready to deal with whatever needs to be dealt with. And when I have this gratitude going on in my life, if I can start with gratitude, I can develop a wonderful foundation, which in actual fact transfers into hope. So that's just my tuppence worth, if you like, around hope and gratitude. Those few little pointers around it. NECRET, in a very significant way, also embellishes hope, because NECRET provides a lot of funding for equipment, and together with the clinical cancer research, it enables our clinicians to remain at the forefront of this fight against cancer. It provides training to help medical staff treat their cancer patient to the very best that they can be. It also educates various people within the cancer treatment area to help people detect symptoms for early detection, along with the risk of the disease can be reduced through a change in lifestyle. And NECRET, as running alongside our oncology team, you know, has without question the patient's outcome and their comfort and their dignity to the forefront. And NECRET's vision always was, and certainly is to move Ireland into a direction of cancer elimination. So that's kind of where we're coming from in NECRET. I would also like, when we're talking about NECRET, that if there's a little piece missing really in NECRET, and the piece that's missing is somebody of a patient who would join this gathering of a board of people, because that's badly needed. And if there's anybody in the room, or anybody not in the room, or anybody that knows somebody that isn't in the room, who would like to come forward and come part of this board, it will definitely broaden our work. It will make our work, I believe, more significant. And that, in that, you know, I always think too about our volunteers, and volunteers that are here today, and some volunteers that are not here today, because these are the people. And when you think volunteers, you think about the people who support the volunteers, and these are the people. I mean, I'd have nothing to do. Now, I don't do a lot, but in fact, anybody on the board would have very little to do if the volunteers didn't do their work. So, while on the top layer, if you like, there's no other way to describe it, kind of copper fastens, but it's what's below that the real stuff is done. And not only so much collecting money to allow NECRET to fund various projects around cancer and the elimination of cancer, but it also creates an awareness about living with cancer, which is an intangible aspect of our voluntary work, and yet it's such a valuable aspect. And in the dictionary, you'll find that a volunteer is somebody who freely takes part. But it's an awful lot more than that. It's about commitment, it's about encouragement. And it's, you know, I often heard it said that people may not, or a person may not remember what you said, or they may not remember where you were, but they will remember that you were there. And that's what volunteers are. Volunteers, in my view, it's without doubt the strongest act of kindness, and it displays unselfishness at the highest level. So that's really all I need to say today, other than that it's a privilege for me. As I say, I was a late starter coming on board, but it was a privilege for me to get on board. It's a privilege for me to be here today. And even just that emblem of NECRET does solidify in me hope and gratitude, or gratitude and hope, whichever way I choose to put it. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks very much, Paul, and Cara are now going to lead out and sing "O Holy Night" for us. Thank you.
O holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Saviour's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt His word. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoiceth, for yonder break a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Pledged by the light of faith serenely beaming, with glowing hearts by His cradle stand. So let stranger in all our trials, born to be a friend. He knows our needs, through our weakness, no stranger. Behold your King before the lowly bed. Behold your King, your King before him bed. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus praise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord, and ever, ever praise we his power and the glory evermore proclaim. His power and glory evermore proclaim.
Thanks very much. That was very beautiful. I'm now just, obviously we're very mindful at this time, particularly coming up to Christmas, with regard to peace across the world. And I suppose we've now, in the middle of the Ukrainian war with Russia, and also then the Palestinian and Israeli wars. So we just have wanted to bring peace into, because I suppose there's inner peace, with regard to kind of the journeys that we go through on a day-to-day, and particularly those who are going through cancer journeys, whether waiting on scan results, waiting to see is the treatment working, etc. So peace can mean a lot of different things to different people. But I suppose in a broader and in a world perspective, we're now living in a time where we thought that we would have peace, going back to the World War I and World War II, and it's terrible now to see the humanitarian crisis that has evolved and doesn't look like it's going to abate in Ukraine and Russia. So we just want to acknowledge, and we actually have a lot of Ukrainian people who've had to leave their homes and receive cancer care in Ireland, and we actually look after some of those in our own unit. So just with that, we just kind of remember those who are affected by war and affliction, and also the huge struggles that they go through on a daily basis, not just with their illness, but also them with being repatriated to a strange country, etc. So we just have a small poem that will reflect on really the true meaning of peace. So I'll just ask Mary Mead just to read this small reflection, please.
Peace for Christmas. All I want for Christmas is peace. All I want is war to cease. In the homes and on the street, peace on earth and joy to greet. Underneath my Christmas tree, Christmas morn I hope to see, headlines blaring, peace on earth, for men of naught and men of worth. Wrap peace up in shiny foil, seal it tight so it won't spoil. Put it on a freezer shelf, keep it fresh, our future wealth. Take it out at dinner time, share a slice of peace of mind. Pass it out to all our brothers, sisters, children, and our mothers. Use the peace meal, use it wisely, digest it well, and let our eyes see peace on earth, goodwill to men, and need not wait until the end. In our homes on Christmas Day, preach of peace as the only way to be happy, to be sure to meet peace at heaven's door.
Thanks very much, Mary, for that. And now Aoife is going to sing again for us. We're just getting ready now to, it's just Aoife will sing, and then we're going to light our candles after that, but I'll guide you through that. So Aoife will sing first.
Have you heard the sounds of the angels' voices ringing out so sweetly, ringing out so clear? Have you seen the star shining out so brightly as a sign from God that Christ the Lord is here? Have you heard the news that they bring from heaven to the humble shepherds who have waited long? Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Hear the angels sing their joyful song. He is come in peace in the winter stillness, like a gentle snowfall in the gentle night. He is come in joy, like the sun at morning, filling all the world with radiance and with light. He is come in love as the child of Mary, in a simple stable we have seen his birth. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Hear the angels singing peace on earth.
I just want to invite Father Hogan just up to the stage, and he will guide us through the, just to say a few words with regard to lighting our candles, please.
Now, will you light your candle just in case the grease might go in the chairs or go on the floor? If you could just put your hand, your right or left hand under it while it's going like that. And we'd ask you all again on Christmas Eve, about 6 o'clock, to light your candles again, that we be united with all each other on that particular evening about 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve, that we be a bond together again thinking on each other. Can I sing with them?
Holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory streams from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant peace from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord of thy birth, Jesus, Lord of thy birth. Silent watch, children cry, soldiers die, martyrs cry, all ye minister a little more. All we need is just one more walk. What have you learned about peace? Sleep in heavenly peace.
And just put your hand around the candle and blow it out, and just hold it up straight for a while until the wax solidifies.
Thank you very much, Father Hogan and Cara, for that. It was absolutely lovely. I'm going to finish up now, and on behalf of the oncology and haematology teams, there's a big number here today. From nursing, there's no medical staff here today, but I know they have sent their best wishes to all of you and wishing you a very happy Christmas. We have our healthcare assistant teams here as well as a big contingent from the clerical side as well. I want to also acknowledge our pharmacy department, social workers, physios, dietitian, and the wider hospital teams that help us to deliver the care that we do on a daily basis. And I'd also acknowledge then the hospital management who work really closely with NECRET, because we have some ideas with regard to trying to improve the infrastructure, particularly around the waiting areas and also some of the treatment areas. And I know some of you will have experienced delays, etc. So we are working with the hospital, and just want to acknowledge that. There's a few people I have to thank. First of all, Monasterboice Inn for their staff, particularly Paul and Shane, who've looked after us really well. I have to say the venue is really nice and very ambience to kind of what we're trying to deliver on from today's service and that kind of thing. So thank you very much to them. I want to acknowledge Joe, who's doing all the hard work recording all for us. And Joe has recorded the event, and it'll be uploaded onto the NECRET webpage, and also it'll be available on Joe Finnegan's website as well. So that'll be available from Monday. So people that haven't been here or couldn't be here, can you just pass the message and say that it is available, and we want to extend the Christmas wish and New Year's good wishes to everybody that we can. Particularly with GDPR, we couldn't send out invitations, so it's difficult trying to get the balance right. I think I can't say again enough. Father Hogan makes it what it is. I think he embodies everything, so I think we should give him a big round of applause. To my left then, well sure, I have my niece who, Kate, is just amazing on the harp. She's a very busy job and took time out today, so I really appreciate it, Kate, so thanks very much. And Aoife, well, you travelled to hear her, wouldn't you? She's an amazing voice. I wish her well. She's a busy weekend as well. She's performing tomorrow, and then I think probably partying later on. But that has to be done. So Aoife, thanks very much and for giving up the time. And I suppose the big stalwart of this service has been long before I became part of the oncology team, has been the Cara folk group. And this is their Christmas. They really, every time I ring Sheila in October, it's kind of like, this is the start of our Christmas or whatever. And so even during COVID, we still recorded, and Cara have been unrelenting. They've never let us down and that kind of thing. So I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you there. And it was amazing. It's always it says it on the tin. I think Cara means really everything that's good, and you embody everything that's good. So thank you very much for the beautiful music. I'd like to thank everybody who contributed to the event today. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, so each and every one of the NECRET board, Paul and Reem and Mary, I know, spoke. There's a lot of things go on kind of behind the scenes, so I thank all the NECRET board, and also where Paul talked about the volunteers. Without our volunteers, we wouldn't have a charity. So we do want to kind of acknowledge their input, and are really grateful for that. We're going to have some tea and refreshments after this. Cara are going to sing us out with "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," and then after we have the last song, we're actually going to do the raffle. So I think most of you maybe have bought tickets and that kind of thing as well. So we're going to have the raffle immediately afterwards, and then you'll be able to collect your prizes after you've had something to eat and drink. So sit tight, and we're going to. I might invite the oncology team. With the team, just come up in front of the stage, and we'll help sing out "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" from us to you on behalf of NECRET and the entire oncology and haematology teams. We wish you and yours a very happy Christmas, and I hope it brings you some peace and joy in 2024. So thank you.